Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Star Wars Stuff Podcast live stream. My name is actually David.
And my name is James. And how's everybody doing today? I guess we'll just wait for a few people to get on, see if anybody wants to listen to us. I mean, I don't
Well, I
know.
mean, they can watch it if they start it from the beginning.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
but I really wanted to get your reaction and your thoughts to Chapter
Uh,
16 because you were on the podcast this weekend.
I yeah, and I left the
I
pod. I
really
left
did
right
that.
when this. Yeah, I did. Um, I thought it was great. I thought it was really awesome. I was very sad at the end of it. I was legit like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm this sad watching this thing. And but in the end it all made sense because that was what Din was supposed to do. He was supposed to get the child to its kind, his own kind, which was the Jedi. And what other Jedi to take him than freaking Luke Skywalker? And it made sense, but at the same time I was very just like, oh my god. I didn't want it to end. I wanted Grogu and the Mandalorians to, have another season together going on adventures. But overall, I think it was a very successful second season for them, and it was. I thought, like I said, I thought it was pretty great. Oh, you guys, who's this talking to us? I can't see the names. It just says
Uh,
Facebook user.
Yeah, I'm not sure,
Oh, hello.
but
Sorry, it won't tell us who you are for some odd reason.
yeah, we can open up Facebook actually and check that out.
Okay,
But
there you go. But yeah, like I said, overall, I really liked it. I thought it was a great episode, an epic episode, and I wasn't anticipating. Oh, Rudy, hey, what's up, Rudy? How you doing? Um, uh, yeah, Rudy and I watched it, and he pointed out to me, and he did post it on the Facebook page that the way that it looked like R2 had something to do with Grogu escaping, or it was just the fact that R2 knew who Grogu was. I kind of like the idea that maybe R2 had something to do with Grogu's, he's still alive type of thing. I really liked that a lot. Um, but yeah, I was sad. I was sad that little Grogu is gone, and now it makes sense because we're not getting season 3 next year. We're getting season 3 in 2022 probably, and
so there's a lot of different publications reporting that we are getting season 3 in December. And I think there's just a bunch of mass confusion. And from what I've heard from Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau, it makes it seem like we're getting it in 2022. But there's so much confusion out there.
well, the reason was, and even Favreau said that they hid it from everybody during the shareholders meeting because she did say we're getting the next chapter uh, in December, but she didn't mean the next chapter of Mandalorian. She meant the next chapter in the overall story that they're about to tell. And that next chapter ended up being, the Book of Boba Fett that they hid from us, which was pretty great. That was a pretty good reveal there. I had no idea. And it was one of those things that David, you kept saying over and over again, like, why didn't they announce it? It's everybody knows it's going to happen, and that's why Favreau wanted to, keep it keep it a secret until the very end of the Mandalorian, which is cool. But I'm sad that we're not getting that season 3, you know, of Mandalorian
Right.
until
It
2022.
yeah, they made it seem with Jon Favreau's Good Morning America interview this morning, he's making it seem like he said exactly this. He said that they're going to start production after the Book of Boba Fett. Now, does that mean they're going to start shooting after the series airs or after they finish the TV show and it's ready for Disney Plus? That's the thing I think that's hanging up people.
Well, either way, it's not happening next year. I mean, that's the thing everyone needs to kind of realize. It's not going to be the next year show that we're going to get in December. It's going to be the Book of Boba Fett. The way I read it, it sounded like as soon as the Book of Boba Fett airs, then they're going to jump into the season 3 of Mandalorian. Mind you, they film it, on a soundstage, and they control everything, so it's not even that hard for them to film, you know, an entire season in 1 month. So yeah, they have it all under control. I trust, Kennedy, Favreau, Filoni, and all of them there at Lucasfilm to give us a good episode. And now we get Robert Rodriguez is producing the Book of Boba Fett. I mean, I had no idea that was gonna happen, and that's freaking awesome. I
Yeah, he was
mean,
a last minute director, and they made it kind of seem well. I think he made it seem that he was just there for just a moment, and he really wasn't like a chosen director, so he probably wouldn't have anything to do with anything going forward. But Robert Rodriguez actually did appear on John Favreau's Chef Show,
yes,
and
he did.
it was a pretty cool episode on Netflix. So I recommend checking that out.
Yeah,
And
he was on there, and they're actually up in Austin making pizza at Robert Rodriguez's house in his kitchen, and and Bill Burr was also there on the Chef Show. So I have to go back and watch the Chef Show, see who else maybe showed up, and who may be who may be hidden somewhere in the Mandalorian. But but yeah, I'm glad Robert Rodriguez is on Star Wars. Like I never thought that ever happened, and he's a huge Star Wars fan himself. He calls George Lucas Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I think is one of the coolest things ever. And Robert Rodriguez was one of the first directors to give up the film and move to digital. And he
mhm,
says the only reason he did it was because George Lucas said this is the future. And he says, if Obi-Wan Kenobi says it, that's it. And so if you look at Robert Rodriguez's movies after that, they've all been digital from Spy Kids to Sin City, you know, it's everything he's only shot digital. So it's pretty cool to have a Star Wars, another Star Wars fan in, you know, helping with Star Wars now. And I don't know. It's a weird time now. It's a really strange time to see all this happening because I didn't think this was ever going to happen. It's like in my wildest dreams, I thought we would get something like this, and now we're actually getting it. And I'm just, I don't know.
mhm.
It's freaking me out, man.
Yeah, well, I've been saying it for a long time on the podcast. It's like, let's just have all these creators that are very talented do Star Wars and have Favreau and Filoni kind of overseeing it. I don't think we're getting Favreau and Filoni overseen, but they're going to be in charge of a total of 4 projects now.
Yeah, more
So,
projects.
and that's going to culminate into like a Avengers style type event, hopefully. And
Oh yeah, it's gonna be epic. So one of the things that everybody keeps bringing up is that Kylo Ren killed everybody in Luke's, you know, Luke's Jedi circle, if you may.
yeah,
So everyone's thinking Grogu is not alive during the sequel trilogy, which is a good argument because he's nowhere mentioned, and plus Luke himself is known as the Last Jedi, and it's like what happened? I have a theory of what I think is going to happen. He is alive after the trilogy. Well, watch. Yes, but he's not going to be a Jedi. I don't think I don't think Grogu is going to complete the Jedi training. That's my prediction. And that's kind of what I've been thinking they might go with the future of this.
but do you
Dark
think he's going
Grogu.
to get lessons and get stronger in the Force from
Oh yeah,
Luke?
I think he's going to get confirmed.
Grogu confirmed.
Thank you very much. That's it. It's done. It's done. Dark Grogu is confirmed, everybody. You heard it here on the Star Wars Stuff podcast. Um jeez. But no, I think Luke will train him. I think Luke's gonna have maybe a couple of years with him, and he's gonna actually like him and Kylo Ren or probably or Ben Solo are gonna be pretty like close, if you may. Like they're gonna be both strong. But what I think is gonna happen is Grogu is going to see what the attachment he has to Din is going to do to him. He sees what happened to Anakin. You know, he sees what's like this attachment that you have is not good because it's gonna, just what pretty much what Yoda says. You know, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. And I think Grogu is going to be wise enough to where he says, you know what, I can't do this. I can't become a Jedi and protect who I love and who I care about because if I do, it's only going to hurt everybody. So I think Grogu is going to leave and he's got to find Din, and together they're going to fly away and live happily ever after, you know, and it's going to be amazing. I think that's what's going to happen. Was he known as the Last Jedi or was it Rey? Yeah, the it's implied the Last Jedi means Luke Skywalker in the movie The Last Jedi. They
Mhm.
say it in the opening credits of The Force Awakens, and he says, you know, and then even Yoda says, "When gone am I, the last of the Jedi you will be," type of thing, which is starting to make a little people, some people mad because it's like, so what, is Ezra? Is he dead, or does Yoda not have any idea if Ezra's alive? Is Cal Kestis going to die before we even get to Return of the Jedi? So there's a lot of things that we still have no idea about.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of a weird thing that the fans kind of immediately thought that Grogu died from what we saw in The Force Awakens. It's like there's such a huge span of time.
Yes.
It's like so much could have happened, and now there's speculation that we're going to get a Luke Skywalker series,
Okay, so where did this
and
come from? You posted it on Facebook. I need to
it
know
came
what you're
from.
talking about.
I said I don't have any credible sources on it. There's no like solid leads to it, but
David made it up. So
I do know that there are multiple projects on the table, some getting close to being green lit, but specifically a Luke Skywalker series was never talked about, and maybe because they were just trying to keep this epic secret. I mean, this is probably one of the most maybe the most shocking reveal in Star Wars history after I Am Your Father, you know? The
Yeah,
fact that
very
we got
true.
Luke Skywalker. Um, so Fandom Wire is the one that reported it, and then it kind of like took off. But you cast someone that, I mean, that looks very much like Mark Hamill. Um,
Sebastian
could
Stan.
so with the Sebastian Stan thing, I'm hearing claims that classic photo of Mark Hamill in Empire and Sebastian Stan's face
Yeah.
with Mark Hamill's haircut, it's like heavily doctored.
Yeah.
So it's really not that accurate. But I mean, who else is out there that looks a lot like Mark Hamill did when he was younger? I
I
mean,
mean, we could find anybody who looks like Mark Hamill. And honestly, though, I don't want there to be uh, a Luke Skywalker show. I don't know. I think that's just kind of taken away from expanding characters and everything. I think just leave Luke Skywalker and Grogu's journey kind of a secret, if you may. And maybe there's an awesome book that comes out that Claudia Gray writes, which would be the best, about Grogu and Luke Skywalker, but I wouldn't want to see a whole show. So how do you connect the Mandalorian story and how do you connect it with the main trilogy? I mean, it's 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 fairly simple because we're seeing the beginnings of the First Order, and they keep mentioning Order, which I love that even, Moff Gideon says it, and then the I forget what the commander from the Believer, he says it too. Everyone just wants, the galaxy just wants order. So you're hearing the beginnings of the First Order are starting, and then plus we have that test tube creature inside of that tube, and
mhm,
I'm not saying it looks like Snoke, but it looks like Snoke, So
yeah.
it's we're trying to figure out how that's all going to tie in, and I think it's fairly easy to tie in the Mandalorian to the the sequel trilogy, and they've already established that it's tied into everything else before that. So I think the sequel trilogy is fairly simple to do for them, in my opinion. I mean, what do you think, David?
Yeah, they said it before season two started that officially that this we're going to see the beginnings of the First Order. So a lot of people are speculating and saying that they're ignoring the sequel trilogy. They're really not.
That is really
It's
upsetting me that people are like, Favreau is completely doing
yeah.
away with the sequel trilogy, and I'm like, there's not one thing I've seen in any of the episodes that makes me go like, "Oh, man, yeah, Favreau's not a fan of what they're doing with the sequel trilogy." No, Favreau is doing what the Clone Wars did, which was to give us a new story, but to also
Mhm,
kind of fill in those gaps and give us a whole new adventure, because watch the original trilogy, watch the prequels. Ahsoka's nowhere. She's not even mentioned once.
mhm.
But the Clone Wars is there, and the Clone Wars, like, she's the main character of the Clone Wars, and that just kind of gives us a whole new adventure with a whole new character, but it doesn't take away from the prequels or from the original trilogy. That's what the Mandalorian's doing. So I don't like this negativity that's been going around saying that Lucasfilm is doing everything they can to erase the sequel trilogy, and I don't see it at all.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It's not gonna happen. The sequel trilogy happened. Love it or hate it, it's canon. I
Yeah.
personally love the sequel trilogy, but then again, I'm a Star Wars fan who's like, I'm watching Star Wars, you know what I mean? Like, and I think David put it the best way, which was, how whenever you watch a Star Wars movie for the first time, you have to watch it again, because the first time you watch Star Wars, any Star Wars movie, you're just kind of like, I can't believe this is happening. That's how I usually am with Star Wars. So I love it all. Luke took away from Mandalorian season 2. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people say they didn't want to see Luke there at the end. They wanted to
Mhm.
keep it away from the Skywalkers, but I get it. I see the point, but at the same time, I'm also like, but the Skywalker storyline is good. I mean, is like the main story of this timeline we have. So why not just kind of keep it all together, if you may? Well, the thing is, why would they put Grogu in the Mandalorian in the first place? Exactly. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he can be any character. I mean, the same with why would they put Ahsoka in Clone Wars? What was the point of her? And now look, all these years later, we find out that she's alive and she's live action now. You know, it's we don't know what they're gonna do with the story next. I think Grogu's journey and what he's gonna do is this is just the beginning, and it's gonna get even more epic after this, in my opinion. But yeah, Grogu is gonna his story is just starting right now. Why? Okay, Ezra's definitely coming back in season 3. If they don't, then there's a problem. Yes, I agree, but I don't think he's going to be coming back in season 3. I think when we get the big what was that the Avengers in game meetup that we're all
Yeah,
kind of predicting, I think that's when we're going to see Ezra. Ezra's going to show up in the Ahsoka series. I'm gonna bet some money right now that that's what's going to happen. What do you think,
right.
David?
Yeah, I'll bet some credits on that. Yeah, I mean, the climactic event, I mean, it's gonna be Thrawn. He's gonna be the Thanos character of that whole event. But yeah, I just want to hand it to Lucasfilm. Keeping Luke Skywalker a secret, like nobody reported as a leak that Luke Skywalker was going to appear. Nobody.
Nobody leaked the last 2 episodes. What are you talking about? Those episodes, nobody had any like we didn't even know the runtime of any of the episode of the last 2 episodes before they came out.
I'm trying to think back for The Believer. I'm not quite sure if
Because I remember you
anything
told
leaked.
me before The Believer came out, you were like, we have no idea how long it is. Because all the other ones beforehand, there was already
Yeah,
like on Monday or Tuesday, there was something already there.
yeah.
But these last 2, man, I don't know. It's like John Favreau, Filoni, and the directors each like it was just them on the set directing the whole thing. Um, in season 1, nobody knew who the Jedi's were. A few Luke was or so. Okay, well, I'm trying to read it. Okay, oh, they didn't know who Luke was or what the Force was. We have a link in season 2, or it's just 2 on them. You see, I I see where you're coming from, but with season two's journey from him being like, I need to find another one of my like the journey in season 2 sets up why Luke and the Jedi are kind of noticed because we get the mention of Jedi at the end of season 1 by the blacksmith, right? She says
Mhm.
Jedi. So that's the first time we actually hear about it. And then in season 2, he's just looking for another Mandalorian. He finds another Mandalorian, and then it's like you got to find Ahsoka. Then he finds Ahsoka, puts him on the stone, and then there's the Jedi. And then it all comes. It does, for me, it didn't just kind of. It didn't seem too on the nose for me. For me, the journey of season 2 set up for Luke coming back to where halfway through season 2, David and I and the crew were talking, and they were like, "Would it be crazy? Luke Skywalker showed up." Like that sentence never ever would have came to our minds had we not seen where season 2 was leading to where it was like, dude, Luke Skywalker could come back and it makes sense. It's not forced or anything. I mean, that's how I felt. How did you feel about that, David?
I felt the same way too, but I thought it was so far fetched and not really possible that I would kind of get my wish in such an incredible and unreal way that I didn't think that it was going to happen. And then when it happened, I was just in shock. I was like outside of my body, like watching.
Yeah, I was yelling in my house. I was like, there's no because you see the hooded figure and the lightsaber, and you're kind of like, that can't be Luke. And then when they cut to and you see the green blade come into frame, I was like, oh my gosh, they freaking did it. And Rudy, Rudy, if you listen on Patreon, Rudy and I have been doing the commentaries. He's
Mm,
always said like that was his dream in episode 9 was we'd see the green lightsaber back, and like we'd see it somewhere in the trilogy. And it was great that the timeline makes sense to where Luke has the green lightsaber. And I thought it was beautiful. Do you think the world between worlds is going to be a thing in the future somehow? I mean, the the speculation is the Ahsoka uh, the logo is the world between worlds, right? Like that's kind of
Right.
what
It
everyone's been
screams it, yeah.
saying. Yeah, I think we're gonna see it, and it's gonna be crazy. And I think we're gonna get something David has always wanted, and I've always wanted, which is to see the trilogy, the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, from a different point of view. Like when they go through, they're looking at it from another point of view. Like I think that would just be the best. Like we were supposed to get that in the Force Awakens, and I still don't know J.J. Abrams' reasoning for not showing that fight between Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back.
So it's
Like, did you?
essentially gonna be like Endgame, but Star Wars version.
Yes, yes. And in case y'all don't know what we're talking about, when Rey touches Anakin's lightsaber in Force Awakens, and she has her vision, and you see her in the hallway in Empire Strikes Back, and she's looking at the fight between Vader and Luke. A couple of years later, they showed that they had an actor there as Luke, like
Mhm.
with the lightsaber and the costume, and they were going to show that from her point of view from back there, but they didn't. I don't know. So I think we may get that from the Ahsoka series, and somehow she's going to have to go find something through there, and that's got to be kind of awesome. Not sure I think of the CGI on Luke, but was the right decision to bring him in the Mandalorian story. Opens up a lot more avenues to explore. Thanks for getting me. No problem. Yeah, the CGI on Luke, it was good until he opened his mouth, and then I was like, oh, this is the Polar Express. I mean,
Her Battlefront 2.
or Battlefront 2, Battlefront 2. But for me, more, I mean, I think Zemeckis did a better job with Polar Express than what they did with I don't know. Like he when he took off the hood and he stood still, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's freaking Mark Hamill." And then when he opened his mouth, I was like, "Oh my god, that's a very bad CGI effect that someone just put together." And and David has shown me that some of these guys in their garages can put together some incredible deep fakes to where their mouths are moving. It looks like it's real. I I, I mean, I'm not going to be nitpicky. It was still Luke Skywalker. We're not
Right.
going to say it wasn't. It was still Luke, and it was freaking awesome. But the CGI was kind of like, I mean, really? Like, really?
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, my opinion on it was just ridiculously terrible. But I mean, like you said, it's Luke Skywalker. I wanted Luke. He was there. However you can get him in, get him in. That's great. I love him. He's my favorite character in Star Wars. But now I'm kind of coming around to the fact that what they'll probably end up doing is they'll retouch it up as time goes on and make it look a whole lot better. Maybe
Yeah.
there's a time crunch. Maybe there was like some licensing agreements on the
No,
software they used.
you know what it was? Did you see that crate dragon in episode 1? I mean,
Mhm.
the chapter 10. That crate dragon was the most incredible CGI effect I've seen on a TV show.
Mhm.
I mean, that blew Game of Thrones, all Game of Thrones seasons out of the water. And then this
Yeah.
crate dragon comes out of the sands and it looks freaking awesome. And so I think all the budget went to that. And then when they got to Luke, they're like, "Ooh, yeah, it's cool." But
And
no,
see,
it was
it's go ahead.
no. I was gonna say like when the mouth is what did it for me. Like when he starts talking, I was like, that's bad. That's really bad."
Yeah, his lips really didn't move and his hair didn't move either.
No,
And
his
there's
hair
like
did
a
not move.
weird like shadow around his head. So it
Yeah,
didn't really look that the uncanny valley was huge on that thing. But yeah, a lot of people thought that Mark Hamill actually did something. I don't think he did anything. He
I
was
don't
there
think
on
he did.
set, but it was Max Lloyd Jones who was the body, and then they took off Mark Hamill's face and put it on.
Yeah,
It's a face-off
they
situation.
faced off the. I was gonna say, yeah, Nicolas Cage was there helping them trying to figure out how to do it. But
But a lot of
yeah,
people think Mark Hamill did something. I don't think he did
I
anything.
don't think he did a single thing because it's not even his voice. And you're welcome for getting into Clone Wars, by the way. Clone Wars is an amazing, amazing thing in Star Wars that I think every fan needs to watch. Yeah, the theory of Rey being Shmi is crazy. I've heard that one before. Oh, did you catch? No one's really talking about this. I may be reaching, but did you catch that whenever Din is giving Grogu, like he's about to give him to Luke, he says, "Now don't be afraid." And that's what Shmi said to Anakin before he went with Qui-Gon.
I didn't
She
catch
said,
that.
yeah, she says, "Now don't be afraid."
Huh.
And I was like, "Oh man, Favreau knew what he was doing, man." He was like, "Oh
Ugh.
yeah." Do you think they should have killed off a main character? Dude, I thought they were gonna kill off freaking Grogu, man. Like I was like that would be just the most insane thing ever is if Grogu doesn't make it. And then I also thought Cara Dune wasn't gonna make it either. I thought she was gonna
Yeah,
go, unfortunate, but she ended up living. Oh, and I like that they finally like the tier, the Rebel
yeah,
Alliance tattoo is you're from Alderaan
yeah,
and you're a
Remembrance to
rebel.
Alderaan, yeah.
Yeah, that when the guy was like, "Yeah, from Alderaan," I was like, "How does he know?" And he was like, "I recognize your tattoo." And I was like, "Ah, that's kind of cool." And it took Rudy like halfway through this second season to be like, "I didn't realize it was a rebel symbol." I was like, "Yeah, it's the Rebel Alliance symbol. She has tattooed, anyways."
Yeah,
But yeah, I think I'm glad they didn't kill anyone off, but I was also mentally prepared for somebody not to make it, and a lot of
mm.
people thought it was gonna be Boba. A lot of people thought Boba was
Yeah,
not gonna make it, and that this would be his like, you know, redemption. He saves the day and he becomes the hero we've all been praising for all these years.
yeah,
But
and sadly,
it's
Jeremy Bullock passed away, and it was
like
almost gonna be ironic sadness that 2 Bobas go in the
in one
24-hour
day.
period.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would have been kind of really sad.
yeah, that would've been
Instead
rough.
Instead, we got a lot of funny memes of, the one I saw was one of Elliot Page, and I don't know what that actor's name is from, the Umbrella Academy.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
Luke Skywalker going toward the Star Destroyer, Boba Fett going away from it, going like, "What?" Like, I've seen so many funny memes of Luke and Boba Fett passing each other in space. But yeah, I like I said, I thought season 2 was really, really great, and I'm sad we're not getting season 3 for another 2 years. But, I mean, what were we expecting them to do with like, what's the plan for season 3 now? Like, I have no idea what they're gonna do.
To take back Mandalore, and
Yeah,
then you have the friction between Bo-Katan and Din Djarin, like, possessing the Darksaber now. It's like, what do you do about that?
yeah, that was, so a lot of people pointed out that in Rebels, Sabine
Right,
um, just hands Bo-Katan the Darksaber, and she takes it, and they're all happy
right,
and everything.
right,
Everyone was referencing that,
right.
but if you watch how she's acting now, I think how Sabine did it and how Bo-Katan had it, I think that's gonna backfire on her, which is why Moff Gideon even says like all you'll be is just a fraud. What he said, like a false leader, like a something like
Mhm.
that. It's gonna be empty. And I think the Rebels reference is that she did take the dark saber, but after like a couple of, I don't know, somebody finally was like, "Wait, you didn't earn that thing. Like that's not yours to even own." So yeah,
Right.
that's my prediction.
So, yeah, I don't think it's battling to get the Darksaber, it's the story. And in Rebels, Sabine gave it to Bo-Katan, but it was in front of all the clans,
Yeah,
and they knew the story of how it was obtained and how it was given
gotcha.
to her. So, yeah, Bo-Katan can't go back and say, like, "Well, this other Mandalorian, child of the Watch, just did my work for me and handed me the Darksaber." I mean, that's not an epic story,
Yeah,
but
it's not. I mean, it looked epic, but it wouldn't be an epic story to tell.
yeah,
Um,
and the Darksaber FX, lightsaber or FX Darksaber, went on sale today, and
yes,
Colin got one and I got one,
you
so
guys are nuts. That thing was not cheap, by the way. I bought a $30 one from the store, and I'm pretty happy with that thing. I don't understand how it was like $250. You crazy? Oh, and also they're also selling the Boba Fett new paint job helmet,
yeah, I
so you
got
can
that
add
too.
one. You can add. Oh my gosh, guys, David is crazy right now.
And
You're
then
just
my
buying everything.
then my Din Djarin one's coming in, May, I think? So, yeah.
So let me ask you this question. We can talk a little bit about the black saber. Yeah, the dark saber was awesome, and that fight was pretty tight in Jaren and Moff Gideon. I want more of the fight, but it was still pretty good. And you can see that it's freaking J- uh Giancarlo Esposito like actually fighting. Like I didn't see a stunt man like kind of like trick angle. It looked like he was legit just swinging that thing around at him.
Yeah.
My
Yeah, he was
favorite
pretty
part of
good.
it, yeah, he was great. My favorite part was the trooper ramming Mando's head into the wall of the spaceship. Not sure how he survived that. Yeah, my buddy Rudy and I just kept saying like, "That's a concussion. That's a concussion. That's a concussion." Like when that dude's boom, boom, just punching him in the face. I mean, yeah, the Beskar is great, but that must not have felt good inside that helmet. Oh, and can we all? Oh, what's up, Alex? How you doing? Can we all just acknowledge the fact that dubstep is now in Star Wars? I
Dubstep
mean,
is not canon.
dubstep is now canon in Star Wars. Like when the music first came on, I thought it was the sound effects of the machine turning on, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And then I was like, "Wait a minute, breaking news!" Yes, breaking news. Dubstep is now canon. Yes, you heard it here. But yeah, like when he, when I started listening, I was like, "Oh, that's the music." And I even went back and listened to it again. I was like, "That's kind of cool." I know you guys talked about it, but before Darth Maul taught Sabine, he fought Emperor and lost. Um, yeah, he did fight the Emperor. He got his. Never mind. He got you know what handed to him very very badly. I didn't know Darth Maul taught Sabine. Did he teach Sabine? I mean, I haven't seen Rebels in a while. I know that
Mhm.
Kanan and Ezra were trying to teach her how to fight. And geez, like I said, it's been a year or 5 since I've seen Rebels, so y'all might have to uh, educate me on that. But yeah, Maul did fight the Emperor with Savage helping him, and they could not take down Palpatine. Palpatine just that's one of my favorite lightsaber fights. Is just seeing these two guys throw everything they can at this little old man, and this little old man's like, "I got you, man!" Like he's double handed, just going crazy. It's pretty. Did you ever catch that thing? And somebody pointed it out in episode 3 whenever Palpatine tells Anakin that he is the Emperor, and Anakin turns on his lightsaber and points it straight at Palpatine there in Palpatine's like room. You know that scene I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, it's like the hallway scene with, like,
Yeah.
that big old, like, gothic mural in the back.
Yes. Apparently, they said if you look at Ian McDermott's hands, his right hand is moving by his side when Anakin turns on the lightsaber. Like his hand looks like it's twitching, but a lot of people are saying that's Palpatine having the lightsaber ready in case he has to fight. And they said
Mm.
it's a very subtle thing. Whether or not it's true or not, I don't know. I kind of want to think that it is that Ian McDermott knew that that's where Palpatine hides the lightsaber, and that he purposely like kind of like moves his hand a little bit to make sure it's ready to go in case he has to fight Anakin. You're looking up the scene right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have y'all seen that scene? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like that gets retconned, and I think it's a lot of fans that kind of, oh, this is what happened. My favorite though, and it's not real, but it's just a cool moment, which is when Obi-Wan looks over and sees Luke running to the Falcon when he's fighting Vader, and then he sees Leia with him, and then he smiles, and then he dies, and it's like the last thing he saw was the two kids together, and I was like, that's cool, but that's not at all what George Lucas was trying to do. So all in all, do you think Palp is it? Yeah, Palp is gone. Palp fried himself in the face. His face melted off. I think, yeah, Palpatine is dead. David's trying to watch this scene now.
Can you see it in my glasses?
No, I can see in your
Yeah,
face.
Yeah, his hands are still they're by his side.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I can see, like, his fingers kinda move up,
yeah.
and he's, like, almost, like, about to draw in the Old West in a
Hmm.
gunfight.
So my thinking was
Huh.
Ian McDermott knew, and he did that on his own to be like
Yeah.
Palpatine was always ready to go. But yeah, Palpatine's dead, man. He's gone. He should have been dead, but we're not going to talk about that. I'm just kidding. No, I love the Rise of Skywalker. I think it's an amazing, amazing movie. But I just like to kind of joke around like that. But don't think that I'm a hater for him being back. I don't know. There's a lot of hate going on. Like I'll go on TikTok and I'll like watch videos of people making fun of Ryan Johnson and hearing other people making fun of Abrams and saying how like we mentioned earlier, like Favreau and Filoni are just trying to do away with the sequel trilogy. And I'm like, you guys need to knock it off. What's your guys' opinions on Rey's next move? Maybe Jedi Temple guard protecting something twin. What is that? What's he? Okay, I gotta read it slowly.
Well, I mean, if it's live action, I don't think Daisy Ridley's gonna come back for a while.
She's not gonna come back until she's Mark Hamill's age in The Force Awakens. I don't think Daisy Ridley's got to come back for a long time.
But I
And
do
if
feel like episode 10 is way more likely to happen now. After the reception of Luke Skywalker, I mean, it's
anything, yeah, like you said on Facebook, anything's on the table now. Like,
yeah, everything's on the table. I mean,
anything and everything can happen now with Star Wars. But I'd like to think that her journey for now is over until years from now we get another Force Awakens, if you may, episode 10 trilogy. But and then also in the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking the final chapter of the Skywalker saga needs to end there with Rey. They're saying Rey Skywalker, but I'm hearing rumor that the Rebel the Rogue Squadron takes place after 9, doesn't it?
well, I think we initially thought that at first, but I think it takes place like during like after 6.
Okay, good, because I don't want anything after. But they did say they're gonna have everything Star Wars. Yeah, but I think that also means that the High Republic is gonna. I think they're gonna establish the High Republic and give us a lot of amazing content, which starts next month, January 5th. Charles Soule's book comes out,
Mhm.
and it's like 450 pages. It's a huge
Wow.
book. I think what they're gonna do, Brandon, is they're gonna establish the High Republic and get that timeline kind of set, and then they're gonna go even further back from the High Republic and start to go way back and start bringing in a lot of the legends that Disney had to kind of push away at the beginning when they first bought Lucasfilm. I think that's what's going to happen. Like I said, I think the legends are going to start coming in after the High Republic is established. With the new episodes Disney are releasing, there's no production about the Knights of Ren. Let us see their backstory. Yeah, they released a whole, I think it was like a 4 or 5 comic book arc about the Knights of Ren and who they were, and it's kind of underwhelming because it feels like
Yeah, the
they
leader looked like Cobra Commander.
and the Knights of Ren were already established. They weren't created by Kylo Ren. They were already a group of terrorists in the galaxy that he's looking for. And then he finds them and then he kills the leader and then he becomes the leader of the Knights of Ren. Yeah, kind of anticlimactic, but it I don't know, man. It just seems like I don't know whose fault it was. It was somebody's fault, but if you even look at the artwork of The Force Awakens, they didn't even have any idea of who the Knights of Ren were when they did when they
Mhm.
started The Force Awakens. So that one was really
I think it's on JJ because JJ created it just like he thought it was going to be like the next like Boba Fett type of scenario where people thought they were cool, but I mean
I
JJ wasn't too fond of the prequels, and neither was Kasdan. And
and I think that was I mean, I love Kasdan. If you watch
yeah,
Kasdan's movies, Abrams movies, but you can tell that they were not
they didn't read any of the ancillary
no.
material, any of the books, the novels, the EU. I mean, JJ is so busy. He didn't have time to read any of that stuff or be into it as a fan. He grew up as a fan of the original trilogy, and that's kind of what we only got was original trilogy type of like subject matter, really. I mean, The Force Awakens is very much original trilogy. And then JJ left and then Ryan came in. He did what he did, and then I don't know what the situation was with the Rise of Skywalker, but JJ showed back up, and it's I mean, it's what it is, and we all know Colin Trevorrow's script was pretty interesting. It seemed like it probably would have made a better film, but
And I think Trevorrow's third draft of that script would have been a great movie because even his the draft that was released, it's good, but there's still like moments where you're like, okay. But I think his a couple of drafts later, he would have gotten it down. Um, I was thinking about Michael Arndt when he was on board writing Star Wars because my thing is, Kennedy hired him to write Episode 7, and if you don't know who Michael Arndt is, he wrote Little Miss Sunshine, which he won the Oscar for, and then he wrote the masterpiece, which is called Toy Story 3. I mean, you cannot say that Toy Story 3 is not a good movie. That movie's just amazing. Anyways, his writing method was 3 years.
Mhm.
I think I'm not going to say who or like, but I think somebody somewhere said we need these movies out now. Like these
The
movies need.
investors.
Yeah, I think the plan was to maybe do the whole 3 year apart that they did with the original trilogy. Even with the prequel trilogy, George Lucas took his time getting those movies out. I think that's what Lucasfilm was trying to do. I'm not going to say Kennedy, but I'm just going to say Lucasfilm. Maybe it was her. But then somewhere somebody said, no, these need to come out very quickly. You need to get a script ready. We can't be spending 3 years writing a script and getting it ready. So
Mhm.
Michael Arndt left. And then we bring in Abrams and Kasdan to write the script. And I've always wanted to see what Michael Arndt was trying to do because if you read the book, The Art of the Force Awakens, you see a lot of the pre-viz stuff that they were planning on doing, and a lot of it was really interesting. A lot of really interesting stuff. Um, like Ray, of course, Ray was called Kira, but that's a whole funny thing. But then Luke Skywalker was supposed to be in there like right away, kind of, and he was supposed to be the Marlon Brando character in Apocalypse Now, which he became in The Last Jedi, but that was all supposed to be in The Force Awakens, like right off the bat. So,
Mhm.
anyways, I say all that to say that the sequel trilogy unfortunately was rushed. I enjoy it. I think it's still Star Wars. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it every year. I'm going to always got to talk about it. But I can see that the sequel trilogy was rushed. And when we get to Mandalorian and all these new shows, it's like seeing Kennedy stand in front of the wall of all those new projects. It was kind of her going like, "Okay, guys, this is what we were wanting to do, but we had to stop just to get these movies out for Disney." And even after was it like when Force Awakens came out, everyone was thinking Kenobi was going to go into production like right away. And then she said, "No, we stopped. We're taking our time to get everything done, to get it all completed." And now, I don't know. I'm not worried about anything at all with what Lucasfilm was about to do.
See, I think the pandemic actually jettisoned all these projects into production because they put the halt on projects to doing theatrical films, and streaming hit, and it was super fortuitous for Disney that Disney Plus launched in 2019, and they had one of the biggest streaming shows of all time in The Mandalorian, and it's Star Wars. So Bob Iger hinted at it that they wanted to do spin-offs, and I think that was their plan.
Hmm.
It was, if The Mandalorian became successful, we're gonna have to have some type of plan to spin off the characters, and I think that's why. Um, that's why we got so many characters, I think, in The Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah,
Now
I
that I
agree.
think about it, it's like, yeah, I think they really wanted to kinda see what hit, what missed, and I think everything pretty much hit, and it's kind of an incredible thing.
Yeah, I think once the success of Mandalorian happened, somebody was able to pump the brakes on all the other stuff that they were gonna get going. Like I said, COVID did stop a lot of stuff, but I specifically remember Kenobi, that's his name, Ewan McGregor saying that the scripts were already done and they were ready to go.
Mhm,
And then in like November, December, or even maybe January, they said everything is stopped. They're gonna go back and really look at it now. And like you said, I think it was that Mandalorian was such a big success, and it was like, oh my gosh, like we need to not rush it, just really take our time and figure out what we can do to make this the best show ever. To where now, like I said, I'm not worried about anything with Kenobi, Ahsoka, or even the Rangers of the New Republic. I think Disney is letting Lucasfilm do what they wanted to do from the beginning, and I think now we're going to start getting some awesome, awesome stuff.
Well,
That's my opinion.
I think with Kathleen Kennedy at the helm, she was trying to figure out how to move Star Wars into the future, and I think it was very hit and miss in the beginning until The Mandalorian came, and
Yeah.
I think she now kind of got the grasp of the fact that we want to build off the original trilogy, we want to build off the prequels, we want to, I mean, just have characters from the Clone Wars, Ahsoka, the
Yes.
Bad Batch. I mean, there's a whole generation that was introduced to Star Wars via the
Mhm.
Clone Wars. I mean, we have
And
people on our podcast like that. So, I mean, that's really the way they maybe should have started it off. But I mean, Kathleen Kennedy had never been a president before. She didn't like kind of she was just basically going off of instinct. When John Knoll presented Rogue One, she thought it was cool. She greenlit it and she did it.
mhm.
And I don't know how many other people have presented her projects and she's turned them down. But I mean, she's gone through a lot of directors. But I mean, just the circumstances now. It's I mean, she can play this like really really well and really kind of make her career give her career that extra added level with Star Wars just by having everything go right from here on out. Like, because I know she made the comment that there are no books for Star Wars, there's no content that pre exists. And that made all the EU fans mad. And now we have The Mandalorian, which draws from a lot of EU content and a lot of legend stuff.
Mhm.
And she said in the Investor Day call, there's 25,000 years of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
She
she
got
understands.
it.
Yeah, it was the fact that she wasn't a hardcore fan,
I
and to be a president of such a huge company, it's kinda hard to be a hardcore fan. I
yeah,
mean,
I
that's a rare person. Maybe Favreau one day can get to that point, but, I'm not quite sure if he wants to kind of move up to that level. It feels like he just wants to create.
and he's doing a great job at it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Him and Filoni. I mean, him and Filoni, that's like a marriage made in Star Wars heaven. I mean, that's just the perfect team
a-
up.
and
I
thank
I I don't
God,
see I don't see any other people on Earth making Star Wars better than what they're making it right now.
and thank God, Favreau was working on Iron Man and Filoni was working on Clone Wars. That was that they met at Skywalker Ranch because both of them were working on those two movies
And
separately.
thank God I went to Force Friday in 2017.
Oh, and I met David there at Force. But yeah, it's crazy to think like I honestly think, and I give a lot of credit to Kennedy, and I know y'all kind of get mad at me because I've known about Kathleen Kennedy for years, and I like how people are like, "Hey, I just noticed this today," and they're watching Back to the Future. They're like, "Did you know she was like the producer of Back to the Future?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And then they're like, "I just watched what was it, The Land Before Time. Do you know she was like a producer?" I was like, "Yeah, I know." I mean, like she knows. I honestly think when she got the job and she got the gig, everything was just like you said. The investors were like, "Get us a Star Wars movie. Get it. Get. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do
Return on
this.
investment.
Can't turn. Let's because he spent what $4.2 billion on Lucasfilm. They needed something quick, and they were like, throw all legends out. It's too much to go on. Let's just make something up. And she was like, oh, okay. And then
Yeah.
so
It's like
now it's
chump change now compared to what they paid for 20th Century
yeah,
Fox.
exactly. And
76 billion or something?
yeah, that was stupid money what they spent on Fox. And now it's like, okay, now Star Wars looks like it's like Brandon says. I think they're gonna connect everything pretty well now going forward. And I think it's gonna start to look Star Wars is gonna start to look really, really, really nice. And what's amazing is I have a lot of friends who are coming up to me now and saying, okay, I want to watch Star Wars. How do I do it? And and so I'm like, all right, here we go. And so I've been giving a lot of people like this is where you start Star Wars, and this is why you started here, and this is what you're gonna do, and this is how you're gonna. And I've had in the past like week, like 4 people ask me, okay, James, Star Wars is a big deal again. I have never seen it. I want to know. That's what somebody said. They're like, I want to know what all the hype's about. I've never seen a single Star Wars movie. I want to know what's going on. And I said, okay, here you go. And I never get mad at people. I'm always like, hey, people like Fast and the Furious movies. I freaking hate those movies, but there's an audience and people love to go watch Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
On the Battlefront 2 on the PC. No, I play on Xbox.
Xbox here as well. Sorry
Colin
about
and
that.
I Sorry, Colin and I played on Xbox the other day, and I'm glad nobody heard us because we were screaming obscenities, and like it was the funniest experience I've ever had playing with Colin. We're just
Ewok
running around.
Hunt. Yeah.
And we weren't playing Ewok, and we were just playing regular,
Oh.
Assault. And but there was an Ewok on there,
You
and
know,
we were
we
yelling at
never
this
played
Ewok.
together. What's the
Yeah,
deal
you
with
and I
that?
have. I don't know. We just need a time when you and I can actually play. I was gonna say, gotta Mando mod. I've heard about that. When will
Hmm.
Favreau make an appearance in a Star Wars episode, or has he already? Just watched Elf and forgot he plays the Doctor in that film. So yeah, Favreau was the voice of Pre Vizsla on
Yeah, so technically
the
he's been
Clone
in
Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah, he's technically been in Star. His voice has, and ironically, his character is in possession of the dark saber when we first see him in Clone Wars. And I love Jon Favreau, and I love the animation of Clone Wars, but you can definitely tell that his voice does not match the person he's playing. But then again, I think it's because I know Jon Favreau. I've known him for years. That when I see him talking out of something, I'm like, that's not it. But Rio and oh yeah, he was Rio and Solo, so he's already
Yeah,
like that's the second person he's been in Star Wars. So,
yeah, that's true. I
um,
totally forget. I liked his character in Solo, Rio Durant. I
dude,
thought he
Rio
was pretty
Durant.
cool, man. They killed him off way too quick, but I guess they had to tell Solo's story.
Dude, they killed off Tanny Newton way too quick
Yeah,
too.
she was awesome. I
I
mean,
was
she's an actress, man. She can
Oh yeah,
act.
she's
She's got big time acting chops.
she was one of like when she died, I was like, dude, and we've said it before. I don't know if you've been listening to our podcast since 2 years ago, you would have heard all three of us, Joseph, David, and I saying like we could have watched the whole movie of them like
Mhm.
going on an adventure. And like if somebody said, hey, Tandy Newton's like the lead in the new Star Wars movie, I'd be like, yeah, I'm
Hey,
gonna go watch that. Like,
she could maybe appear in the Lando series. I mean,
dude, I would dude, she
them dealing with like Bosk and Dengar,
oh, yeah, yeah. But
Battle
yeah,
of Fab.
Favreau was in Solo, and we got on Tandy Newton because Tandy Newton's amazing. She was
Yeah.
awesome. What game is it? Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2 on PC.
Yeah. Brandon plays it on PC. I play it on Xbox.
Yeah, we play
And
on Xbox.
Battlefront 2 has an amazing campaign that I don't think a lot of people talk about that campaign. That campaign is awesome. And I think everybody needs to play that thing.
Yeah,
I
I think I need to play it all the way through. I haven't played it all the way through yet.
Dude, I played it all the way through. It took me forever to beat the last
Yeah.
part of it, and then it even shoots forward than your Kylo Ren. I know I just gave that away. I'm so sorry, guys. It's really cool, man. It was a great game, and they make reference to Battlefront 2 in the Believer of Mandalorian, the episode of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
They
Operation
talked about
Cinder, right?
Operation Cinder was in Battlefront 2. You're crazy for not playing it through. Yeah, David, what the hell's wrong with you,
Hey,
man?
man, I got like 10 jobs. I got a podcast. I got a wife. I got kids.
I'm just hearing
It's hard to
excuses
find the
right now.
time.
I'm just joking. But yeah, Matt, get Battlefront 2. It is really good. It's really good. I think it was Colin was saying, oh, it was Squadrons had like a crazy deal on the game. It was like $23 last week or something. But you
Yeah.
wake up at 4 a.m. to watch The Mandalorian. He's got a point there, man. You got all this crazy stuff happening, but you got to wake up at 2 a.m. to watch Mandalorian.
Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't really supposed to, man. My body just got ravaged doing that.
Yeah,
I was
I'm still trying to recover from.
destroyed.
I'm not.
I'm one of those people that need a lot of sleep, and the fact that a Mandalorian episode would drop at 2 a.m. Central Time for us here in Texas, I would watch it, and then people would do after shows on YouTube, and then we started doing an after show, and it's like, I'm not gonna go to sleep. I'm thinking about this stuff way too much, and then I finally go to sleep like at 5 or 6, and then I gotta wake up like in 2 hours to go to work, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, it was. I'm not as young as I was. Like 10 years ago, I could have done this no problem. It would have been amazing. I would have been like, I watched Mandalorian, then I went to work at 6 a.m. Nah, dude, I stayed awake and watched it at 2 a.m. And then I was like, oh my God, I gotta
Yeah,
go.
it's kinda funny now. It's kinda like the equivalent of going to the theater and waiting till midnight to watch a movie.
Yeah.
2
And
AM thing in our house, yeah.
But what got me was, I always, check my social media when I wake up. I want to know what's going on in the world, and I would start seeing stuff right away, and I'm like, oh crap! And so that's when I figured, oh, I should just get up and watch it at 2 a.m. And yeah, that's what I did for the last 4 episodes. I woke up at 2 a.m. to watch it, and it was awesome. It was so good.
Yeah, yeah, it was a fun experience. I'll never forget it. Did you
Oh,
wait to the end of the credits? Did you know about that, or did you just sit there through the
I
credits?
I don't know how it happened because I was doing the group watch with my wife, and it skipped ahead. I don't know whether or not she kind of looked and was like, "Hmm," and she skipped ahead to it, and I was like, "What is this?" And I freaked out and then rewound it back. But I knew something was up because when the show was over, I hit the to see how much time was left, and um it said 8 minutes left. And I was like, "How are there 8 minutes of credits still left in this show?" And it didn't make any sense. And then that's when I realized, oh, there's a post credits. Um, I keep trying to get my kids to play Battlefront 2, but can't get them off Fortnite. Oh god.
I think the Mandalorian's coming to Fortnite, right?
Yeah, that's what he says, and adding as a skin in there didn't help. Oh, come on, really? They weren't like, oh, that's cool. One of my least favorite TikTok videos is the one where you hear that kid going, "Hey, watch this, watch this. It's that dude from Fortnite." And it's like, oh my god, I just want to punch every kid in the face right now.
Really?
Um,
Hmm.
I can hear a kid doing that with the Mandalorian. Yeah, my wife's one of my wife's sisters plays Fortnite like non-stop, and it just kind of grosses me out that that's a thing. Um, Thanks, Brandon. Why did oh you wrote that? Okay, I was like, why did Star Wars Stuff Podcast just write something on our?
What?
That's right. This I was like
So
really confused.
so in my hands right here, I have
Uh-oh.
the original Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker figure that I played with as a kid,
No
and
way.
it's pretty rough. You want me to show it
Okay.
to you?
Yeah, I want to see it. No way. That's from 19 what 80 something or 90 something.
83, 84.
Oh my gosh, guys,
This is
look at
what I
that
played with
thing.
when I was a little boy.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Let me look. I don't think there's a date on the feet. Sometimes there's a date on the feet. But yeah, this is the original. Played with
Yeah, wow, indeed.
extensively. And of course,
Mine
I think the cape is gone and the lightsaber's gone.
I have a Leia back there. I really like that Leia. I got it at Celebration. I was really happy to get that one.
And not only do I have Luke
Uh-oh.
Skywalker, I have an original Bib Fortuna with
Oh,
with the cloth robe. And I think it's an original. Yeah, it's an original. I played with this too a lot, and here he
let me
is.
see. Oh my gosh. What's those 3 magic words?
Yawana Wanga.
Yeah, wanga wanga. If y'all don't know, there's a meme of, his feet are all weird. There's a
Yeah.
meme, and it's Emma Watson, and she's like, "Say the 3 words, and I'm yours." It's Bib Fortuna going, "Dewana wanga." Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. He didn't take care of himself after all these years, man. He let himself go
He
there.
took Mandalorian guards food because they got all skinny and he got kinda thick.
Yeah, true. Max Rebo ain't coming back, man. Be ready next time. Dude, okay. So Colin, okay, so we all have a big text group, all of us in the podcast. And we send each other memes, we send each other updates, and it's I recommend getting a podcast group of friends to talk to because it's not a podcast, a Star Wars group of friends to talk to because it's freaking awesome. Anyways, Colin sends us a text message today and he's like, dudes, I typed in Max Rebo on Instagram and look what comes up. And there was a Max Rebo Instagram page that says Max Rebo sucks. This dude made a page, or this girl made a page of Max Rebo sucks. And it's 2 posts, and it's just like hating on Max Rebo. And I was just amazed that somebody took the time to create a profile on Instagram called Max Rebo Sucks. And I made a joke saying that's equivalent to me going, you know who sucks? Seal Bibble. I need a whole Instagram page dedicated to Seal Bibble right now. And then me just posting pictures of him being like this, oh my God, look how terrible Seal Bibble is. You know what I mean? I was just amazed that somebody had the time to make a Max Rebo Sucks Instagram page. Oh,
Yeah. When we were at Celebration in 2017 in Orlando, our buddy Craig that, Medicine Line, he made a CO Bibble joke, and I laughed for like 10 minutes. I was like, only at Star Wars Celebration can someone reference Seal Bibble and know who you're talking
Who's Seal Bibble? Seal
about.
Bibble.
He did have his own soda can though for the Phantom
He did
Menace.
have his own soda can for the Phantom Menace. Seal Bibble was an advisor to the Queen on
Yeah.
episode 1, and he's the one who has the infamous line, "A communications disruption can mean only one thing: invasion." Yeah. You the death toll is catastrophic. We must bow to their wishes. You must contact me. That's Seal Bibble. And he's just a random character in Star Wars that had his own Pepsi soda can. Yeah, oh my god, it is right. Yeah, you know who it is. Dude, I wish somebody would make a documentary just on the promotion of episode 1, The Phantom Menace. The promotionals for episode 1 was just the most insane thing in the history of mankind. I collected every single figure from Revenge of the Sith. Sith of Fortune only now after they are now starting to be worth any money, especially the troopers have 3 boxfuls in the attics. I have 2 General Grievous from episode 3, and I have a Yoda from episode 2 still in the box with his lightsaber. And the action figure, excuse me, the action figures that I have a lot of. What do you got there?
I have a Yoda from Taco Bell,
Oh my gosh.
96 Lucasfilm.
Yep, that was that was when the special editions were coming out, man.
So
There was
this
this guy.
predates Phantom Menace.
It does predate the Phantom Menace. That was when they were getting ready for the Phantom Menace too.
Yeah.
Somebody on TikTok had a video where he showed a lot of the stuff from like Taco Bell that were in the toys for the 1997 special edition release.
Mhm.
And I forgot. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Like there was a lot of cool stuff that came out when the special editions were re-released. It was pretty cool.
Look at this comment.
Oh no, don't say that. Oh, it makes me so sad. How old are you, Brandon? Are you even old enough to be on these things? Oh man. But
So I was 18 when the Phantom Menace came
no,
out.
you were not 18 when the Phantom Menace came out. Wait, no, how old? You're only a few years older than me, though, right? You
I
were
was
born in what,
17,
80? What year were you born in?
81.
Oh crap, yeah. So yeah, you're 8. I was Jesus. I was 10. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I was 10, and I was at that right age because I was a kid, but I was a kid who already had the 3 Star Wars movies already, the original
Mhm.
Star Wars movies, and then I also got the special editions a few
Yeah.
years later. So I was like, "Oh my god, Star Wars is the best thing in the whole world." And then just a few years later, they're like, "Here's episode 1." And like I said, I was the right age for episode 1 when it came out. The promotional and the marketing for that movie was just the most
Absurd.
insane. Everybody had a soda can. Everybody had a Pepsi can.
Got
I
Taco
s
Bell, KFC,
like,
and what else?
it was Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut,
Pizza,
and,
yeah.
they even had this thing where you go and I don't know how they did it. It doesn't make any sense. Now it just they would never do it, where you would get, like, a full poster with your meal when you went to, like, Taco Bell. And, yeah, you can never get that anymore.
Mm,
Like nobody would ever do that. And yeah, it was a full poster, and like there was 4 of them, and you put them together, and it was like this really cool mural of episode 1. And I had 3 of them. I couldn't find the 4th one. I hope I don't know where they are in my house, where I grew up. And what else was there? Everyone had a Pepsi can. The candy was crazy. The toys, dude, there were so many episode 1 toys. Everybody had a toy. I mean, it was just you couldn't turn the TV on without seeing at least 1 or 2 advertisements for episode 1. It was nuts, dude. It was a great time though, and I missed that time, that. And then
yeah.
last year we celebrated the 20th anniversary of episode 1, which freaked me out that I was old enough to remember 20
Mhm.
years ago when a movie came out.
And the hype around it, a lot of people
Oh,
want to say that The Force Awakens had the most hype.
no.
It has to be The Phantom Menace because, I mean, people that I didn't think even knew what Star Wars was like, yeah, I gotta go see that. I'm like, what? People were taking their grandparents in the theater opening night. They're like multiple like generations of families in the theater, like cramped in there. And I live in a small town in Texas, and that place was packed. And it was just a weird sight. And I was looking around and I was seeing people that I knew, and I'm like,
You
you're
like
into
Star
Star
Wars?
Yeah, it's like so weird. And I mean, at that time, I really didn't talk to too many people about Star Wars because, I mean, it just wasn't that big anymore because there was such a huge drought in the films. But then the hype started, and I mean, I still remember to this day being in math class. I forgot what math it was. It was, I don't know, it was algebra or something. But I had a fellow classmate sitting next to me, had nothing in common with me whatsoever. And I just simply asked the question out loud, Star Wars or Star Trek? And he turned to me, he goes, Star Wars is far superior. And I was like, what?
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. And then I think we started talking after that about Star Wars. And
Ooh, look at this. I worked in Pizza Hut when Phantom Menace came out. We had a life-size plastic Jar Jar Binks in the entrance greeting people. Missed out on the raffle to win. It was absolutely gutted.
oh,
Dude, Jar Jar was supposed to be like the
he was
greatest thing in Star
Chewbacca,
Wars.
yeah.
Dude, Jar Jar. And you know what? I love Jar Jar. I thought Jar Jar was just such a fun character. And I know people hate him, and it's fun to make fun of him, but in the end, I think Jar Jar was such a great character in Star Wars. And if you watch Clone Wars, you can really see the love that George Lucas put towards Jar Jar and how Jar Jar handles himself in situations. But yeah, dude, Jar Jar was everywhere. Anakin, the pod racing, dude, the pod racing was all over the place. Like everything had like a pod racer. You see a shot of them flying, and Lucas pushed the pod racing like hardcore. And I remember, I think it was a year before it even came out, and I just remember I was watching like TV after school, and they were like, and in honor of the new Star Wars, here's the brand new battle droid with its air speeder, and it was just the battle droid on that speeder flying
Mhm.
over, and I was like, what did they just say? They just say there's
Well, see, that was the first toy. That was the
yeah,
first, like, kind of
exactly,
like introduction.
and
Yeah,
that was me going like,
I have that here in this office
no
somewhere.
way, no way."
Yeah.
'Cause that was my first, like, that was my first ever hearing that there was a new Star Wars coming out, and I lost my mind. And then I remember one morning, I woke up early, and, like, the Today Show was like, or Good Morning America, somebody was like, "And here's your first look at Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace." I was like, "What?" And I saw the trailer, and I was like, "What is happening?" And, of course, the ending of that trailer was the moment you see, Darth Maul with his double-edged lightsaber, and I was like, "That dude looks freaking awesome. What Star Wars is back." And it was
Mm.
Darth Maul's face on a lot of stuff was just incredible because it was like, "Oh, this is the new baddie. This is the new evil in Star Wars." No longer are we seeing a guy in a helmet. It's this dude all tatted up.
Yeah, that double-bladed lightsaber, I think that just blew everyone away, and everyone was like, "Is that even possible to use? I mean, aren't you gonna, like, cut yourself in half? How are you
But
gonna
now
use something like that?"
Ray Park, man, with that cheese, he was it was so beautiful. Jar
Yeah.
Jar rules, bring back the Binks. I agree, bring back the Binks. He should still be alive in the time of the Mandalorian. I'm just saying, I think he's still
Yeah, what planet is he on? I think he's on a
he's still on
particular
Naboo.
planet.
Oh no, no, he moved somewhere. I know Joseph. If Joseph was listening, it seems like you guys are stupid because Joseph knows exactly where Jar is at the point. And if you don't know, check out the trilogy Aftermath by Chuck Wendig. It has these little chapters, this little, what do you call them? It's like you have the main book, and then there's the next chapter is just like something else entirely. Well, anyways, in his books, he actually includes Jar Jar and what happens to Jar Jar. And it's pretty good. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty sad too, but I just forget where he was and where he ends up being. Anyways, yeah. So what were we talking about? Mandalorian. Yeah, Mandalorian. Yeah. So just
I
kidding.
kinda want Favreau and Filoni to bring in another Gungan character and have him like a warrior type and, like, almost the exact
Oh,
opposite of Jar Jar and see if they could pull that off.
I'm pretty sure they're already like
'Cause, I mean, they're pulling off crazy stuff. They're pulling off Boba Fett. They're pulling off Ahsoka in live action. They pulled off Luke Skywalker. Where else are you gonna go, man? I mean, it has to be Jar Jar now.
Or
That's the
Gungan,
next
that'd be
thing
pretty.
that's, like, impossible and, like, unfathomable to, like, pull off. It's like, it's
I
gotta be Jar
but
Jar
but in the end,
or a
dude, I
Gungan.
think it's way too expensive to do that, man. I think it's
Mm,
way too expensive to do a Gungan. It was expensive then, and it's still expensive to do it now. Like it's crazy. But it would be awesome if they
gotta
did
have
it.
goals.
But yeah,
I said,
bring
"You
back
gotta
John Knoll,
uh,
bring back Dennis Murin, have those wizards just
they're all still there."
what?
Like, they probably still got the old models and the old PCs.
Oh, jeez, dude. Those guys are those dudes are amazing. Like watching them make Star Wars and talk about the technical stuff. I remember I saw an interview with John Knoll, like behind the scenes, him talking to somebody, and I was like, "What did he just say?" Like that made no sense to me. And Liam Neeson has a when he was doing an interview where he was like, "We're on the set, and I see these dudes in the corner just like talking about something, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna let them do what they got to do because I have no idea what those other guys in the corner are doing, but they're making all the
Yeah.
magic for us in Star Wars."
And John Knoll invented Photoshop. He should just be walking around with a sign that says, "I invented Photoshop." And everyone
And
just should bow to him.
John Knoll, and on the
Yeah.
back, what's up?
He's such a humble guy. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
he is.
and he's a big Star Wars fan.
And I was gonna say the back of that shirt should say, "Oh, I also pitched Rogue One to Lucasfilm." Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah, and
would be
he picked Rogue One. Yeah, he's so understated. It's kind of weird. And he's one of the guys that was there for the prequels, and
yes.
he was there the whole time pretty much.
Yeah, he was there for all three of the prequel movies. And
Him and Doug
when it
Chang,
came yeah, oh man, Doug Chang. And yeah, Doug Chang is the vice president of Lucasfilm, just so
right?
everybody knows. Because David and I did not, or David knew that, I did not know that whenever they said it. I was
And
like,
we
"What?"
watched him in Chicago, like, speak to us.
And we
And
were
he
like
talked
5 feet away from him, and, like, we were close to Doug Chang, like, I
well,
was
we
like,
got, like, really close to him when we went out, like, outside after I think it was before one of his panels where he was, like, signing autographs, and the line was, like, 200 people long, and we're like, there's too much else to do to wait in this line." But, yeah, he's definitely the Star
"Uh-oh,
Wars, like,
always remember the rumors that Jar Jar
rockstar.
Binks worked for Palpatine." That's what So, I have an opinion about, I wish I could see these names, I'm sorry, because it just says
I
Facebook
can bring
user,
it up. I can bring it up if you wanna see him.
and I'm so sorry, but I have a theory
It's
as to
Andrew Wicks. He's the one in Facebook that's
oh,
been chatting to
Andrew?
us. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Andrew, how you doing? So in everyone always references the interview that George Lucas says when he says Jar Jar's the key. He doesn't mean the key to the future of the story that's about to happen. He means the future in the technology that they were creating at the time to do Star Wars.
Well,
'Cause
he did help vote emergency powers to Chancellor Palpatine.
yes, he did. But the conversation they're having is about the visual effects at that time. And that's the famous one where you see George Lucas with a pink highlighter and a yellow highlighter, and he's legit going through, going, "Okay, this is going to be real. This is you. This is real. This is visual effect. This," and they had storyboard. I forget how many, like 10-foot long storyboards,
Mhm.
and George Lucas went through each and every frame, coloring what was supposed to be real, what was not supposed to be real. And then he said, Jar Jar is the key. Like, if we get Jar Jar to work, then we can make more of these things. And that's
Yeah.
what he was talking about. But somebody found that quote and they were like, oh my God, Jar Jar was the key. And then he does this in the movie. And man, people did some
Yeah.
hardcore research to like convince people that Jar Jar was the was supposed to be the villain. But then when the hate came out for him, George Lucas had to change the story. But no, that was never the case.
Yeah, then people were taking, like, the posters of the sequel trilogy and, like,
Oh my
finding outlines of Jar Jar.
yeah, I remember some the best I saw was whenever they got the Last Jedi poster, which is I don't have it up actually. I don't have that one up. It's still wrapped up. And you flip it upside down and somebody drew like here's the eyes, here's the nose. It's Jar Jar, man. I promise it's Jar. It's so funny. It makes me
It's
laugh. I bought a Jar Jar toy the other day, and I
You know
still
what? I
think I
don't
still have
have a single Jar Jar I bought a Jar Jar toy when they released the Black Series. I think that's coming in the mail. And I got a notice today that the Scout Trooper with Grogu in the satchel, the Black Series,
Oh,
it's probably gonna arrive on Christmas Eve.
that Jar Jar Black series sold out in
Yeah.
like a minute. Almost the same as the Boba Fett one, man. That thing sold out so fast. I went to this toy shop in Austin, Texas, and they had some just in a bin, and they had a Jar Jar for $3 just outside of the box. Unfortunately, it wasn't. It's still in the box. I was like, oh my god, I want this, so I bought them. And I'm glad Ahmed Best is getting the love and the appreciation that he should have been receiving all these years. And it makes me sad that people were just so rude and so awful to him. But I'm glad that he's, I don't know, everyone, like when he came out on stage, everyone gave him a standing ovation at
Yeah.
Celebration. Everyone was, it was like, oh my God, here he is.
Yeah,
It's
he's
great.
actually on a Cameo now under when you look up Star Wars celebrities to do a cameo for you. You can actually buy a cameo from him.
What does that mean? Tell everybody what that means.
So Cameo is you can look up a celebrity or a genre or a franchise, and there's a list of celebrities basically that you can surprise someone with a happy birthday message
Oh,
or
that'd be so cool.
like happy holiday message. So yeah, I know Sam Witwer is there. Katie Sackhoff is there. I think Katie Sackhoff is like $250.
It's
I
not
think
even that
Sam
much.
I think Sam Witwer's is like 70. Ahmed Best, I think he's actually kind of high. He's like 110 or something. But he does quite a few of them apparently.
That
And
makes me so happy. That makes me
yeah,
so happy. Nothing will ever make me angrier than Felicity
Ashley
Jones's
Eckstein is there
autograph.
too. Yeah.
Felicity Jones's autograph at Celebration. I'm
Gonna
telling
take out
you,
a
I
mortgage.
I saw that price and I was like, "Who does she think she is?" I was like, "What? Yeah, you're awesome, but like
Dude, she's an
$750?"
Academy Award nominated actress. That's who she
I
is.
know, man, but Ian McDiarmid wasn't even asking that much, and he's a freaking
Well,
legend on the stage.
yeah, that's true. But I
I
mean,
mean,
he's not as famous or doesn't have the. It is kind of weird that Ian McDiarmid hasn't done a lot of films that are like
well,
popular. The
his
only other
passion
film,
is
yeah, the stage. But yeah, I mean, he's in Sleepy Hollow, which
yeah,
was kind of cool to see. Um,
him and Christopher Lee and Ray
yeah,
Park are all
yeah,
in Sleepy Hollow. I love it. I love it. But
love it.
whatchamacallit, and then Nick Gillard was the stunt coordinator for Sleepy Hollow.
Where's he at? Is he still with us?
I hope he's still with us. If
I
y'all know
haven't heard.
Nick Gillard was the stunt coordinator and the swords, the choreographer for the prequel trilogy.
I'd be
And
so rad if they brought him back for Kenobi and he worked with
oh,
Hayden and Ewan
let
again.
me see if he's still going, man. Is anyone still here listening to us? If you are,
Yeah,
please let us
yeah,
know.
there's people.
They're just like, these guys are kind
So
of boring.
I kind I wanted to get your thoughts on what you think is going to happen in the Book of Boba Fett.
I was about to ask you the same thing. Hold
So
on, let me see if we get.
I think they're going to play into more of the aftermath novels, and we're going to see more Cobb Vanth. I think Timothy Oliphant's coming back. I think we're going to get more Hutts on screen other than Jabba. And who was that other Hutt in the Phantom Menace?
The hut. It wasn't
There was a
Gardola. Was it Gardola?
I'm not sure. But we all know in the Clone Wars film, there's a Huttling, and there's a whole like story with the Huttling and Malakili and the
Oh
and
yeah, there's a
so that
baby
might come
hut.
back, yeah.
I forgot
And there
about
might be
that.
more Hutts. I know there's more Hutts in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, what's his
So
name? I forget what his name was. He's like, "Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?" He was named
so yeah.
after. Yeah, he was named after. They've asked him after Capote. Oh, and it looks like Nick Gillard is still going,
Yeah.
and that's exciting. Oh man, that'd be so great if they brought him back
And
for
see, yeah, that was
Kenobi.
20 years ago. So he was actually a little older. So maybe he's in his 60s now?
Yeah. I don't know. He was already kind of he was a
Yeah,
little old there in the I don't know.
little
It's
long
pretty
in the tooth.
it's pretty great to see him to see the fights, how he choreographed them and everything. I okay, here we go. Just had my delivered yesterday. Yeah. Oh wow.
Oh,
Jeez.
man.
That
That's not good.
sounds that sounds that sounds terrible.
Yeah, one
They
of my buddies had one of his sideshow figures. I think his mall stuck in a port for like a couple months until he just recently got it. So, yeah, man, world events. I mean, they're very much affecting all of us and the industry. And I think that stimulus bill actually is going to give 15 billion to the theaters actually.
yeah, they're gonna give a lot of money to
Yeah.
and they're also gonna make it illegal to stream illegally. Like if you start streaming illegally online, you're gonna start getting fined for that. That was
Hmm.
also in the stimulus bill too. Hey, good job, America. And they're gonna give us $600. And the best thing I saw was somebody had a picture of Chevy Chase from Christmas Vacation when he gets his bonus. And the anyways, we're not gonna talk about that. Oh, hey, if you ever want to like get some really good toys and Hasbro is out of the toys, go to Dorkside Toys. And Dorkside Toys has all of the new Hasbro stuff there in stock because it's like a hidden secret online. And I've bought so many things from them, and it's awesome. So yeah, do it. That's where
What
we
was the
got.
last
So,
thing you
um, which one was it? It was I think it was the Vader. Oh yeah, it was my Darth Vader. I got a Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader, the
Yeah.
40th anniversary.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
person that says, "Hi, friends," that's Crystal.
Oh, that's Crystal. Oh, hello there. Apparently Crystal's in a cult just like me, according to TikTok. They said, "What's say that you're in a cult without saying that you're in a cult, or what is a cult without saying it's a cult?" And it was like Star Wars fans, and the guy was like, "I can just say hello there, and you're either gonna say hello or they're gonna say General Kenobi, and if they do, I know 90% about all those people." Do you think Boba Fett will build a new gang of bounty hunters? I see. And you asked me earlier, and I got distracted looking up Nick Gillard, but I have no idea what the book of Boba Fett is going to be about. Like, I legit have like no current, prediction of what's about to happen in this show.
Yeah.
So I'm just like everyone else here, and I'm excited for it. But just like with the Mandalorian, I had no idea what I was getting into, and what's bad about the book of Boba Fett is our expectations are going to be like up here, whereas when Mandalorian season 1 episode 1 came out, our expectations mine were like really low when that first episode came out. So I hope it's good, but I have no idea what's going to happen. That's my long answer of just
I
saying
think
I don't
yeah,
know.
I think it's gonna be very Boba Fett centric, and what I mean by that is all the characters associated to Boba Fett in the past. I think we're gonna see him. I think we're gonna see Dengar, IG-88, Bossk, Forlom. I think all the hits. We're gonna get all the hits. I think for the
I
series.
but I think what everybody wants. Okay, I will say this: what I want are flashbacks. I want flashbacks.
Right. I think we're definitely going to get a flashback of him escaping the Sarlacc pit. I think we all want that answer in live action, and hopefully getting a certain point of view from, or a different point of view of the whole like beginning of Return of the Jedi when Luke ignites the green for the first time,
Mm,
which would
oh yeah.
be really cool.
And you know what I would want to see? I'd want to see Daniel Logan in the suit for the flashback. That would just make it better. That would make all the fans happy if Daniel Logan is in the suit.
So,
Yes. What are you talking about? You think so? Are you being sarcastic right now?
no, I mean he
What?
doesn't. He doesn't look like a grown up Boba Fett though,
He's
and
not gonna take the helmet off though.
no. Hmm.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, if they were like Daniel Logan's gonna be playing the young Boba Fett in the book of Boba Fett, I think everyone that will just bring more and more people to watch it, knowing that Lucasfilm is like knowing what they're doing, taking care of their fans.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that'd be a great move on their part.
Yeah, I thought you meant something like I thought you meant Daniel Logan play Boba Fett, like with the helmet off.
No, 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 no. I meant like whenever they do the flashbacks of Boba Fett, then like Return of the Jedi or even Empire Strikes Back, it's Daniel Logan's physique there doing all the stuff.
Yeah, that would be cool, definitely to have been involved. I think, I mean, all these actors that have been involved, I say bring them back. Even Ahmed Best. I mean, it's like you got to
Okay.
bring them back. It's great that Hayden's coming back to
Oh
Kenobi.
my gosh, dude. I was talking to one of our listeners, and they're like, Hayden coming back in the Kenobi episode, it probably will break the internet. Like that's gonna when that show comes on, Disney better be getting all their stuff prepared because the streamings and everyone's gonna probably crash the system. So are
Yeah,
we getting
it crashed for you, right? For chapter
yeah,
16 for a little bit?
yes, chapter 16 did not load up for me. It took a second for it to finally get going. I was like, dude, come on. So are we getting a series or a book? As of now, we are getting the books. It's going to be novels, young adult novels, as well as comic books. It's going to be just this entire just lore of the High Republic and this new timeline, and it's all going to be
Right.
books. As of now, all we've heard are books, but the Alkalite, which is coming to Disney Plus probably in 2023, the Alkalite is going to be taking place toward the end of the High Republic. So they're going to start, we may start seeing more stuff depending on how well the High Republic hits with the fans. I think it's going to be a pretty big hit because it seems like, don't get mad, or I'm not being a jerk. It seems like they planned out quite a bit with this plot line, and they have a pretty good story idea of where it's gonna go and how everything's gonna be connected. So I think it's gonna be pretty good, in my opinion. I don't know. You
Yeah, I
think?
really hope we get some surprises.
And yes, they have said that
Well, not become a
Yoda.
Jedi Master. He's already going to be a Jedi Master at that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Brandon. Um, yeah, I think because Yoda at this point is 500 years old when this starts. He's either 500 or 400 years old when this starts. So we may be seeing his.
700, right?
I thought it was
He's waiting
that was 400 years.
200 years.
Oh, 200. Okay, sorry. Yeah, he's 700 years. And also, we might see Maz pop in. Oh, which reminds me, we need to see Maz and Mandalorian. I'm sorry, we need to see Maz and Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That would be the best because Maz is just an awesome character. And any book you read about Star Wars now, Maz is in there. Like everyone always mentions Takodana all the time, and it's pretty great actually.
Mm.
But yeah. I'm excited for High Republic, and that's like I said, that comes out January 5th, I believe. Yeah, January 5th.
Yeah, I'm going
And
to download that on Audible.
yeah, oh dudes, get the Audible books for Star Wars because they don't mess around with those things. They put sound effects from the movies, the music from the movies. It's a whole production and it just makes it so much better. So I highly recommend getting Star Wars Audible because it's awesome. Just
Yeah, it's
saying.
like the old school radio plays.
Yes.
Yeah.
But dude, I'm actually David, you're gonna be disappointed, but I'm going to have to go. It is 1 a.m. and it's kind of late.
Is it
uh
1 a.m.?
it's 1 a.m.
Dude.
Can you guys
Okay.
post a
Yeah.
link in the Discord? Uh yes, David,
For
get on
Audible?
that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Audible, any Audible, yeah. But yes, guys, thank y'all so much for staying up with us. David is probably gonna go on without me, but I'm a little
No, I'm going to
tired.
leave too.
Oh, you're
I
gonna
didn't
leave?
realize
Okay.
it was fun.
You crazy
Having too much
person.
fun. Yeah.
And my original idea was to get on this thing for 45 minutes, but yeah, you know how that goes.
Yeah, we went
But
for an hour and a half.
hey, guys, thank y'all so much for watching this live stream and being a part of this. And we're gonna be David and I and crew will be doing more of this coming soon. So we're really looking forward to that. And it's a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah, check us out on Instagram at Star Wars Stuff Podcast, on Twitter at Stuff Pod. It's my name tonight. Check us out on Facebook. I know a lot of you are right now. And then we're on TikTok. And of course, our Patreon. If you want to get more episodes, we're about to upload a bunch of commentaries for Clone Wars. So
Ooh.
yeah, that
And
should
also,
be.
all of season 2
there's a commentary for every episode of season 2 on
Yeah.
Patreon as well. So get on there if you want to hear that. Guys, thank y'all so much. And David, thank you for inviting me. And
Yeah.
may the force be with you.
Always.